Mav's Coffee Clarity with Denise is brought to you in partnership with Drive Media and Consulting and their premier sponsors. Subscribe on your favorite streaming platforms and share. If you just found us, welcome. And if you're a regular, welcome back. Denise DiGrigoli has spent her life in the creative industries as an entrepreneur, helping people transform their visions into thriving businesses, working with individuals and teams to find their purpose and live their life vibrantly. On her pod, Denise delivers business intel and life hacks with wit and wisdom in short shots like a strong espresso with a solid sense of humor. Enjoy this episode of Mav's Coffee Clarity, and here's Mav.
Well, hello, my friends. You're on Mav's Coffee Clarity with Denise. We're a show designed to move you forward in work, life, and self-care. And come on, who doesn't need that? Every week, I spill the beans on maverick wisdom, business and life hacks you can use to move forward. And when I'm not interviewing fascinating mavericks in their own right, it's just me, Mav, and a short shot. And I got to be honest with you, today I had a whole bunch of different thoughts on the short shot content and what I was going to say and how I was going to wrap up Thanksgiving. And then I said, you know what? I'm going to wing it. Even though I'm a very planned person, I'm going to bring it all together and wing it. So let's see how we do. By the way, if this is your first time here, welcome. If you're a regular, I'm so thankful for you. Welcome back. Please listen and like us on Apple and Spotify. It helps us rank. And what we learned recently is through Podbean, we had 1,000 downloads. To some people, that's not a lot of numbers, but to us, it tells us we're engaging, you're listening, and we're growing. So that does lead me to what I wanted to talk about. Everybody right now, it's the Thanksgiving holiday, hustle, bustle, lots going on in everybody's world. And sometimes I sit and I say to myself, so why would I want to keep doing this? Is it the game of numbers? We did win a few awards this year. We won Best Podcast by the Connecticut Press Club. We were involved with a Clio Award through my friend Mindy's agency out of New York, where there was an incredible healthcare campaign for a new product called Last Laughs, and we were the interviewing part of that campaign. And so, we get to own a little piece of that pie. But that's not why I'm going to keep it going in season 3. Why I'm going to keep it going in season 3 is because every time I go to say, okay, I don't have time for this. I'm growing my consulting business. I'm sort of in the sandwich generation, caring for aging parents, caring for my family, caring for myself. So why would you do any startup? You have to have an interest. And you have to believe that whatever your startup is, whatever your company is, whatever problem you're solving a problem for somebody out there in the world. And like my grandmother would say, you can't be a success until you help someone else be a success. So yes, podcasting for me, or my show, because we're on YouTube as well, is a way to stay connected and bring in really good ideas, not only from myself and the client work I do every day, but from other people that have done really miraculous things with their lives and have struggled and have figured it out. I believe everything is figure-outable. And how do you figure it out? Well, in the old days, we used to go to the encyclopedia. I know some of our multi-generational friends watching are like, what? A book? No, we go to ChatGPT. Okay, go to ChatGPT. It's fabulous. But in my days, ChatGPT was you went to your grandmother's bookshelf and you pulled out the encyclopedia and the data was old. But that's all you had. Anyways, I'm working right now in a local university in their startup incubator program, and we're helping young students identify ideas for future companies. So we're looking at trends. What are the needs of our population domestically, internationally? And are we going to bootstrap it, being like an organic startup entrepreneur? Or are we going to be a VC and go look for angel money? But in either case, from this podcast to any of that, and any of the other clients and small businesses in the United States, by all common language, each business solves a problem. From coffee all the way through to medical devices that are groundbreaking. So the podcast for me serves a dual purpose. I stay connected. I get to talk to people. And when you're an entrepreneur and there's not a big boardroom behind you, and even if there is, sometimes there's no conversation at the water cooler. You're kind of in it alone. So by sharing ideas and collaborating and hearing other people's success, it just opens creative pathways for you to develop your own successful ideas or problem-solving skills. So that's why I do it. But like anything, any startup, anything, any business, Facebook didn't happen overnight, nor did Microsoft, nor did any movie star that looks like they'll say, oh, I did that for 25 years. Like, look at Leanne Morgan right now, the housewife that was selling jewelry and really not selling jewelry, but telling stories to all the ladies she was trying to sell jewelry to, and did it for 25 years until, you might look up Leanne Morgan on, and none of this is paid or endorsed or affiliate marketing, not at least yet. But hey, no, but yet she followed her passion and grew her brand. And chance favors the prepared mind. Maybe she was in the right spot at the right time. Maybe it was actually 25, 30 years of work that got her to where she is. So I look at those examples and I say, that's the trajectory of an entrepreneur. You have an idea. It helps you. It helps someone else. Together we all move forward, right? We get by with a lot of little help from our friends. I think that's a song. And so I thought to myself over the holiday, of course, I'm busy. Sometimes I'm a little foggy and tired. My morning starts very early, ends very late by my choice. So why am I doing this? Why? Because you've told me it helps. And it helps me too. It helps me share what's happening in my life. It brings the water cooler conversation and problem solving to you. And so if you've signed up for my biweekly brew or clarity brew, you can go to DeniseDiGrigoli.com and sign up for my newsletter. I put all these great ideas out once a month. And this month I started doing something a little bit different when we decided to keep it going for season 3, which I'm most proud of. I'm going to be incorporating something called a micro joy. So oftentimes our life goes by so fast, and for all of us, we get on autopilot and we forget that there's more to life than just autopilot. So a micro joy is taking the time to recognize, like, hey, I was really jammed and busy, and I was trying to find a parking spot downtown, and I put my intention out there, and you know what? I was lucky, fortunate enough to find one right in front of the spot where I needed to park. That's a micro joy. Just remembering it and recognizing it and seeing it for what it is. Another micro joy might be doing something like writing out this Thanksgiving handwritten place cards, so everyone feels like, wow, she remembered me. She wrote my name on a place card and she put a special setting out for me. Or maybe it's writing a thank you note. Or maybe it's just an incredible big belly laugh. Or maybe you listen to this show and something sparks something in you and you're like, oh, yes, that's a micro joy. And so when we recognize micro joys, we kind of move the needle forward for ourselves. And when we set our energy, and we've talked a lot about setting our energy on this show and how MAVericks use their energy to really shape their life and the lives of others that they touch. When you shape your energy and it's more fruitful, it does benefit others, but it benefits yourself, right? Because it actually gives you more inspiration. So what I wanted to talk about in my short shot was so many of my clients and my friends and my colleagues at this time of year, including myself, feel very stressed out. There's articles, there's jokes written about how to deal with the family at this time, how to deal with the shopping list, the overspending, the overeating, blah, 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 blah. So I want to give you 3 quick ideas. You could jot them down. You can think about them and try to just maybe integrate them. It took me a while. Number 1, Took me a while to integrate this one because I'm very passionate about my family and my friends. If I'm going to show up and give you my word, I'm going to show up and give you my word. And sometimes I would overextend myself, meaning my list, instead of being 6 things long, would be like 22. And I would get to a frither trying to get to those 22. Now, that's not very maverick, because maverick wisdom is knowing the difference of when to say no. So this is permission for me, and I've been implementing it over the past few years. I've got to prioritize my day. What's important to me? That's why I thought very deeply, like, how important is the podcast to keep it going? It takes a lot of time to curate the guests, the content, the sponsors, the ideas, try to shape it so it's even something you want to listen to. Same thing with the holidays. When you're making your list between now and the end of the year, how important is it? Is it really mattering? Because if it's mattering, put it on the list of the 6 things for today, not 22. And permission to say no. No, thank you. Ooh, I'll give you an example. I was mentoring last night at the university, which I gave my word to, and I thought, oh my, I gave my word in the middle of the holidays. It didn't really seem that bad in October, but come December, whoo! So, and of course, I love the work I'm doing with the students, and it's so inspiring to see them so thrilled and growing with their own ideas. It's like a Christmas day over there every day when they're just like, wow, great idea. And it's like they're opening up gifts and just like, whoo. So I thought to myself, I'm really tired. I maybe don't want to go to the mentoring, but I gave my words. I went. I was glad. But in the meantime, my friend had texted me and was like, hey, we're having a holiday party over in Trumbull, and we'd love you to be there. We're going to be crafting some cool greenery, something or other. It sounded great. But more so, it sounded great because I really needed a creative outlet. You know, when you're giving creativity out all the time, and it's a creative muscle, so you don't burn it out, it continues to grow. But sometimes you just need to do a not mindless, but a creative thing that isn't for an end use, right? Just to be. And I had to say no, because I had to make a choice between coming out of mentoring and actually going home and having a decent meal and relaxing a little bit, or jamming in a holiday event, which would have probably got me home much after 10. Permission to say no. Permission to say no and be okay with it. And tell people, you know what, I'm a little overextended, or today's not the best day, or how about, can you just keep me on the list? I look forward to seeing you. All good answers. Because when you try to do too much, you let them down by either not showing up fully or not showing up at all, having to cancel out on your commitment, but more so you let yourself down. Anyways, the next one would be prioritize. We've talked about time blocking. We've talked about not multitasking, completing a task. All these things I try to implement into my own life. Like, I'm not going to share them with you if they don't work over here. So I'm like down to 6 things. And when I'm coaching people, I say, you know what? Take the thing that's you least want to do and do that in the morning. Just get it out. Get it off your plate. We all go for the little low-hanging fruit, the easy stuff. Call Jane Doe back and make an appointment, or, you know, follow up on the dog's haircut. That's easy. But get the tough stuff off your list. I used to have a list of like 22 things a day. It ran me ragged. Now I prioritize, and yeah, sometimes I skip a beat, and sometimes I skip a beat intentionally. The one thing I do is reduce that negative self-talk, what I call ants, automatic negative thoughts. It says, oh my gosh, you didn't do this right, you didn't do that right, you didn't show up, blah, blah. You know, you could go on and on. Just, okay, goodbye. If you've worked with me before, you know, I say just cut that energy out. Cut it out. So you're trying to harmonize in on your energy level by still staying true to what you want to do and who you want to be around for. And yeah, probably pushing it a little bit because it's the holiday time. You want to do some extra stuff. But no buts on Mavs Coffee Clarity. Yet, the third one is probably the most important for me. Really carving out time in the morning. I'm a morning person for some meditation, some movement, exercise, gym, nature walk, whatever, to set the tone of my day and my energy. And then full gusto. And I love coffee. Look, I'm having a coffee right now. And I love goodies. I love goodies. But, too much sugar, whether it's cookies, cakes, or booze, makes Mav a crabby girl, right? Can't function if all your joints are aching from too much sugar. And, it's like sugar highs, sugar lows, sugar hangovers. Just don't make happy holidays. So be mindful of that kind of stuff. That's what's worked for me. Going into the holiday season does not need to be the gloom and doom of dread, of, again, I'm spending too much money. I'm eating too much. I don't have enough time. I'm not going. Just no, cut that out. And let's change that inner dialogue. That's what MAVericks do. And be okay with making a mistake. Sometimes, we set up these plans and we're going to be on, I don't know, let's say Weight Watchers, Noom, Whole30, South Beach, any number. And then we go full in. And 3 or 4 days in, feeling pretty good, and we start to slide off. And then all the shame creeps in. Oh my gosh, I fell off the schedule of whatever diet plan. I fell off the schedule of the gym. I fell off the schedule. And that shame comes in. And so now you've become like the deer in headlights, or shall I say the big moose up on the Berkshires, just standing there staunchly criticizing yourself. Let it go and start again. Isn't that what life's about? Every day we get to start anew. So start anew. And be, for me, it took a long time. Be less critical of yourself. Be okay being creative. Be okay saying, you know what? I got 4 out of the 6 things done on my list. Maybe I took one off to go spend time with my daughter at the new museum she's working at. Maybe I took a day off to bring an aging parent to the hospital that really needed someone there that could be supportive. Maybe I took some time off and just went thrifting with one of my best friends. I know, thrifting at the holiday time sounds like, a weird concept, but whatever gives you joy, microjoys. Because when you kind of, that old adage, put the oxygen mask on first, you can help all the other passengers in the plane. That's really true. So this holiday season, what I wish for you is kind of the gift I've been trying to give to myself, which is the gift of planning, preparation, a gentle no thank you, a regrouping, allowing things to come off the list, inviting things to come on the list, and just being a little gentler. I'm guessing that if you do a little bit of that, you might feel like you're navigating. That's kind of a cliche, isn't it? Navigator. My friend Liz came up with that word. We're all a community of navigators, and she gave me permission to use it. And you know that when someone gives you permission to use something like that, you got to give them $1. Anyways, I get off the track. I want you to know how thankful I am for you and for you listening and sharing and following and helping us grow this community. If you sign up for my newsletter, not only will you get a little extra stuff that you may not hear on the podcast. Some people like to listen, some people like to read, some people like to watch on YouTube. Follow and join the community of MAVericks and Navigators here on Mav's Coffee Clarity. Together, we all move forward. And if you want to know more about my consulting services, go on over to DeniseDiGrigoli.com and connect with me there. I'd love to hear from you. In the meantime, my friends, peace out. Mav is calling it the end of the day. And just to think, I told Taylor, I'm not going to do this today, Taylor, but you know what? If I make a commitment, I'm going to show up. Okay, peace out, my friends. I'm thankful for you, and we've got a star-studded lineup for Season 3, and your ideas and inspirations are always welcome here. Thanks again.